Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
And welcome to episode 196 of On the Bench, the podcast for scale modelers, by scale modelers, all about scale models. And this episode is being brought to you by our latest Patreon supporter, Dan Cross. You too can help support the show. Simply go to www.patreon.com/onthebench and pledge any amount from as little as $1 per month. Your contributions help us with our hosting and production costs and are greatly appreciated by the team. And of course, don't forget, every financial supporter of our Patreon team gets a On The Bench sticker. Before we get started with the show, let's hear from our wonderful supporter of the show, Scale Model Supply.
Are you looking for top quality paints for your next project? Then look no further than the Scale Modeler Supply, Australia's hobby paint. Hi, I'm Scott, and as a passionate modeler myself, I've spent years creating the SMS product range, designing them specifically with the Scale Modeler in mind. We have worked extensively to develop our acrylic lacquer paint range to not only be airbrush ready straight out of the bottle, but also to be easy to use so that anyone of any skill level can create professional results with minimal effort. Just give the bottle a good shake, pour into your airbrush, and spray at 15 psi. So dive into your next project with confidence, knowing that you're backed by one of the finest hobby paints on the market. Head over to our website at scalemodeler.com.au to check out our full range and to find your closest retailer.
And in the studio with me this morning, I've got Ian.
G'day, Dave. G'day, Julian. G'day, listeners.
Julian.
Yeah, this is take 3. Because,
It's been a good start.
yeah, the first step is always the hardest.
It is, yes.
Well, you would have thought that, because you're the one who had the rough night last night.
I didn't have a rough night. I had a pretty mellow night.
Well, this morning you're a bit seedy, weren't you?
Oh, a little bit, but you don't do it too often.
And yeah, I'm the one making all the mistakes this morning, so go
I know.
figure.
Yeah.
Yes.
To my defence, I am coming off the back of a very busy week with work, so...
Yeah, you would have been flat out with that Categories 3 storm we had last Sunday.
And I've been working night shift, which also tends to sort of spin me around. I don't know whether I'm Arthur or Martha after doing night shifts.
Mm-hmm.
And you sort of wake up. You know what I hate about night shifts? You wake up, you go to bed, and you wake up, and you go to work, and it still seems like the same day. It's weird.
Yeah, I
don't know.
Yeah.
It just messes with my head something bad.
Not enough daylight warming your brain.
And then you got to try and get yourself back onto
Normal hours.
Yeah,
good luck with that.
Well, I think I'm there. Anyway, that's my excuse for all the fluffs this morning.
Yep. Yeah. No, I haven't done much myself. I've had to look after my mother's cat.
Oh, how's that going?
Yeah, well, the cat, she's back home, so the cat's back with her, but yeah, it's a 10-month-old kitten. So you're not going to get anything done with a 10-month-old kitten that's just running right around the house. And luckily, only one model got damaged for the whole week it was there.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Which model was it?
It was me old Hasegawa 32nd scale F4B biplane.
Well, if you haven't built it yet, it's probably deserved to get smashed and
I have
wrecked.
built it.
Oh, it's finished, was
It
it?
was finished, yeah. It was sitting next to me little King Kong sculpture.
Well, why didn't you put it in the display cabinet?
I don't know, because it's always been sitting out. And my house isn't set up for cats. And the crappy thing is the light-coloured cat and all my furniture is black, so you can imagine what my place looks like.
You can see where the cat's been.
Oh, yeah, you can tell where the cat's been. Yeah. So, yeah, that was a long week.
You closed off the modelling room?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I made the mistake of having it open one night, and oh my... the cat was finding places I didn't think the cat could get into.
Yeah, that's what I imagined, because I've been in
yeah.
there and there's a lot of like pokey corners.
Yeah, and the cat absolutely loved it. Absolutely. It was all over the place. There's stuff getting knocked over, and it's like it just kept wanting to jump on the actual modelling bench where I had the project.
Yeah.
I was like, no, get off. Gosh, it's just stepping on things.
How about you, Julian?
I've been working on the Mustang.
Ooh.
It's weird. Like I've been polishing it for quite a while now, and I keep coming back to areas that I thought I'd covered.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's coming
It
up.
was
really
like orange, little bits of orange peel.
Well, sort of. It's always like I look at it, I'm like, I can do better than that. You know, I can. That could be smoother. That area there. You know, and yeah,
Just don't cut through.
No, I haven't had that issue on this
Oh,
kit.
that's good.
It's been pretty good.
Nothing worse than cutting through when you're.
I cut through on one area, but that's not on the actual main body. I can just sort of like repaint the whole thing, and it's all black anyway.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Easy.
Yeah. Oh, as soon as I did, I was like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. You know, I can just hose.
Is that
thing.
black meant to be high gloss, or is it meant to be like
glass?
semi-gloss?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So what the way this kit sort of functions is that the front and rear of the car are not on the main body. You've got to glue them on separately, right? So you know how you got like on a typical Mustang, you've got that sort of rear plate that has the tail lights in it. Sorry.
Oh, on the back plate.
Yeah. And
above
then
your trunk lid.
Yeah, and it's got that the pony inside a circle symbol in the middle, usually where the fuel cap is.
Yep.
That area there is a separate piece, and then the area below it is also a separate piece, and then the rear bumper goes on top of that.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, that's the only thing I have to do. And the front is much the same. There's a whole separate front clip, so to speak, with the whole grille and headlights and everything all in there.
Ah, cool.
Yeah. And then like there's the hood, the bonnet itself, and I had to, I had it polished, and I was looking at it, and I'm like, because black is very, very showing of any flaws.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I
So I always paint things white because you can hide so much more under white.
you can, but that's why I don't paint white cars because
you did.
That's an off-white. It's not quite the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's racing white, so it's like a cream color.
Yeah, it's more creamy, that color.
Yeah.
That was that Cosmo, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that's why, because like if I were to do a white car, you could not only would I have a pain in the ass just actually seeing what I'm doing when polishing it, there'd also be no real show off of it.
So of course, yeah.
It just looks like a white car, and like you would look at my white car versus a white car of lesser quality, and you wouldn't be able to see any real difference, would you?
No, not at all.
There's this sort of thing where with a lot of light colors, but maybe not yellow, but you do have that sort of an effect, and the dark colors are much more unforgiving.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I don't want to make a whole bunch of black and grey cars or dark blue cars.
No, you want to.
There's this one color that Nissan, because at some point I'll probably do a Nissan Skyline, but there's this one color that everyone loves, and everyone who's built a Skyline wants to do it in this color. It's called Midnight Purple, and it's like this really, really dark purple with all these sort of glittery, shimmery flakes that sort of range between purple and like sort of reddish purple.
Oh, right. Like a colour shift sort of.
It's a very popular colour, especially for the real car. Like, especially in the US, they love that colour more than any other colour. It's like it adds so much more value to the car, and I just don't want to do it because it's glitter. It's a glitter paint, which is going to give me a headache.
Yeah, that's the problem with scale. I don't think it's very difficult to get the scale.
Yeah.
Metallic pigments.
Yeah, it is.
That small.
Yeah.
No matter how fine you grind it, it's still going to look slightly large.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I know, that's why I don't want to do it. I'd rather, I'd rather pick an actual colour. It always seems to work out much easier for me.
Yeah.
Less of a headache. And unfortunately, a lot of cars have metallics.
They do now.
A lot of them. Even older cars, it's like, can't I get away from this?
Oh, well, sucks to be you to build model cars.
I saw something very interesting last night, Dave.
And what was that, Julian?
It was Dave at our model club weathering his ship.
You know what? Because I'm really enjoying it. I haven't built a ship in so long, and I've forgotten how much I enjoy building ships. And I'm loving doing this build.
I love that you're loving doing this build, especially since you're weathering it this time.
Yeah, well, actually, it's the first time for me. I normally just leave mine all super clean. But this is all going to be dirtied up as if she's,
I was wondering what you were doing because I saw you like attacking it with a brush.
Yeah.
And then I looked at close and like that's the finest hairbrush I've seen yet because it looked like a needle is what it looked like. It looked like a syringe.
Yep.
Well, doing rust in 1/350th scale, you've really got to get zero right down. So, yeah.
That you do.
Well, I reckon that's why he's weathering it. It's because it's for the interclub build and it's not a scale or a shit that he actually cares about.
It's a tribal class, isn't it?
Yeah.
They're pretty cool destroyers.
Yeah. Except I'm not doing an Aussie one. I'm doing a
British one.
A British one, yeah.
Yep.
HMS Tartar is what I'm doing.
Yep.
Because it's got a really cool camouflage pattern to it. And that's what I loved about the tribals. They got all these really cool camouflage patterns and really weird sort of colours like, Western approaches and all this sort of guff. And it's just different from your normal sort of camouflage scheme.
Yes.
So I've actually got to pull my finger out because I think Interclub's in about 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez, I haven't even done the... I've built all the superstructure, but I haven't even done the
armament.
The PE yet. I've done the armament. I haven't done the PE.
Is that a box, isn't it?
Yeah.
Trumpeter?
Yeah. So
That wouldn't be that much PE.
yeah, but it's trumpeter PE, man.
I know, it's crap.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I need to put some time aside to sort of really get into it and get it done. So
Yeah, Trumpeter's not known for this good shit PE.
no.
Well, you got a weekend ahead of you, don't you?
Well, I've got to do some repairs to... Oh, so here we go.
Oh, here we go.
I'll tell you what my weekend's looking like. So I forgot to report on our last episode that the Possum electric fence is up and running. And so far, it's actually working.
Cool.
In that there's been no
Incursions?
signs of possum eating any of the leaves.
No infiltration, eh?
No, none whatsoever. However, there was a certain section of the fence that I know came home the other day and it was been damaged. The little uprights that you string the electric wire to has been broken. I thought, gee, that's a bit odd because they're made of fiberglass, so they're fairly strong. And I finally figured it out. A possum had sort of come past, got zapped, and his fat ass had knocked it and smashed the
Either
upright post.
that or your neighbour tried to peek over the fence, zapped himself.
It's possible. So I had to de-energise that part of the fence, and I put in an urgent order for a new end post, which arrived in the mail yesterday. So I've got to repair that today.
So possums out there, here's your chance.
Well, no, they won't get to it between now and when I'll get the repaired tonight. So I'll give you that tip. So that's that. Also,
Speaking of possums, even when we went to Queensland, Dave couldn't get away from him.
no, that's right.
Mind you, it was only a little ringtail.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
a couple of little ringtails.
Yeah.
But outside, I thought it was just funny outside of the hotel room.
And then the
Bloody-
bush turkeys.
Yes, that was funny. I'm in the hotel room and then Ian Kazine was next door and he goes, "Hey, check this out." And I go out the balcony, there's these bush turkeys down rustling around. It was funny.
Yeah.
We had a good time in Queensland.
No, it was great, Queensland.
Yeah, it was great.
Great people, great atmosphere.
So what else have I been doing? Well, when we were at the Queensland show, there was a particular model I saw on display and I just fell in love with it. And I did a bit of research and it turns out it's a Warhammer kit. It's a little six-wheel buggy called the Sagatur from the Leagues of Voltan. So
the Space Dwarves.
yeah, so I got my son. I said, "Hey, can you get a copy of this?" And so he kindly put one in the mail for me, which is really cool.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you got an insider.
I've got an insider. Well, I didn't know what it was, so I sent him a picture and said, "Hey, what's this? And do you know where I can get one?" And he said, "Yeah, I'll get one for you." And so that arrived in the mail, which is really super cool. And also, I finally found a model I've been looking for a while, a dinosaur.
You bought a dinosaur model?
I bought a dinosaur.
And what dinosaur did you buy?
This is the NASA dinosaur that was used as a potential early stages of like a reusable spaceship.
What, you mean a Flintstones rocket?
No, they're actually called the dinosaur, spelt D-Y.
Yeah, I'm going to call it the Davosaur.
Davosaur.
So it's a spaceship.
Yeah, but it's a dinosaur. I saw your eyes jump
Oh, I
up.
thought, here we go. Dave's going to do something unusual.
So that's winging its way from somewhere in the world. I can't remember where I bought it from. Anyway.
Yeah, so I always scored some nice stuff up in Queensland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't we already talk about what we got?
Oh, maybe.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Probably.
Yeah.
I bought something new.
What?
I bought the long-awaited Nissan 240Z
Oh, here we
Custom.
go. Another car.
Yep, cool.
Yeah. But that's all I got to say about it. Everyone knows I've been harping on about it for quite some time. What I didn't know about it is that it has, because, it's got individual throttle bodies, the triple Webers.
Yep.
It's got little turned aluminium trumpets.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I got some really nice triple Webers for the LJ Tirana in 3D printed.
Oh.
Really nice. Really, really nice.
Yeah, they can be pretty nice,
Yeah. He does a good job.
Where'd you get it from?
I got it through Eric Gallier's
Manscale models.
Manscale Models, yes.
Yep. Very cool.
Terrific guy.
Very cool. All right.
This buggy thing's pretty cool. I mean, it has a very sort of sci-fi look to it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yep.
it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know what it really reminds me of? Those men kits that were brought out by about was it something or other Earth?
Oh, the Wandering Earth.
Wandering Earth.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that.
Yep.
Very cool.
Very, very awesome.
All right, let's dive straight into our interview with the guys from Bases by Bill. I was over at Nats at Madison, Wisconsin. I bumped into the guys from Bases by Bill, and I thought it'd be a really good idea to have them on the show. And lucky, at the moment, we have with us Christian. G'day, Christian.
Hey, everyone.
We've got Bill.
Yes, sir. Hello.
And I don't want to mispronounce your name.
West or Weston is fine. Either way.
Weston. Okay. We got Weston as well.
Yep.
Guys,
hello.
welcome to the show. It's really good to have you on. Before we even get to talking about Bases by Bill, I've just got to say how impressed I was by some of the awards that you guys produced for the Nats at Wisconsin. Particularly those ones that I think they had the lighting in them, like the backlit type ones. Mm-hmm. They were absolutely gorgeous, and kudos to you for sort of doing that. And it looked really, really good. And anybody who would have got that award would be super chuffed to have that in the display case. I thought it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, that was all Weston's idea, and I just had to get the board ready for him, cherry board, and he put it on the CNC and does his magic, and it takes out that area just the right size for the lighting, and it turned out really well. We did the New Zealand Nationals last year.
Oh,
and we did something similar to the same thing for them. Weston did, and it was just
It was just the outline of New Zealand.
Outline New Zealand and lights.
In white LEDs. But, I mean, I wanted to do something kind of unique, I guess, for nationals, both the New Zealand Nationals and then IPMS Nationals in Madison. Obviously, those awards, any modeler that wins those awards, you kind of won the Super Bowl or the lottery, or you're at the top of the pecking order of modelers, so to speak. So, it was important to make sure that the award was at least partially befitting of the excellent work that modeler produced. So it was awesome to be able to showcase some craftsmanship and add to our local nationals.
well, gentlemen, it looked like the bee's knees, so hats off to you. I think it was really awesome. So, which sort of leads us into the discussion. Where did Bases by Bill start from originally?
Boy, that was a long time ago. I think it's almost 10 years ago. It was probably 9 years ago. I was getting close to retirement, modeling, and I like to woodwork. Woodworking is probably my top what I like to do. And I thought, a kind of a nice base under a model would be kind of cool. So I I literally pieced together a Balkan cruise, and I tried to do it as accurate as I could. And I brought it to one of the meetings, and the guys thought that was just tremendous. And they took pictures, shared it, and then I thought, boy, there's a lot of other things you can do. This is just one thing. So it just started with me piecing stuff together, doing long, just ship base boards. And then Wes thought, boy, we could probably, why don't we try a laser, Let's get a laser. So we bought just this tiny laser, foot by foot. And man alive, that opened the window up on everything. So then we got a bigger laser, and we got a bigger laser than that. I think it ended up being almost 3 feet by 3 feet. And then we ended up getting a CNC machine, and we got a 3D printer for different things, and it just blossomed from there. We started painting things. We etched masks for painting, and it was laborious, but they turned out beautiful, of course. We made sure that we got good wood, cherry wood, high quality wood, and just getting a lot of different ideas. We went to a lot of contests as vendors. Probably, I'm going to say hard. We went to a lot of them for about 4 or 5 years and got a ton of feedback. Sold stuff too, of course. And then we started doing, Weston says, well, Dad, you gotta make display cases. You have to. And I said, I don't know anything about plexiglass. I don't know how to cut it. I don't know any of this. So he goes, you got to make them, Dad. These guys want them. And so I thought, okay. So you dive into it. You figure out how to get your plexiglass cut. There's a hardware store will do it for you. Figure out how to measure it, figure out how it has to be disassembled and shipped, how you ship it in one piece. So it was just, all of that was just a growing concern on how to do these things, And yeah, some of the cases, the biggest case we did was, I think it was 96 inches long. It was over 3 feet tall, 2 feet wide.
Wow.
That was for a gentleman in Florida, and he had some huge, some handmade model of some sort that he needed a case for. So, that, and well, you got a big display case, you got to have a table for it. So okay, so I made tables that fit these big cases, and it was crazy. I did so much woodworking that I couldn't get out of the basement, literally. I had
ultimately it was a hobby that turned into a full-fledged
and when I retired,
business.
At the time I wasn't retired. I was working 40 a week, and it just became too much even after being retired. And I said, look, I can't make the display cases anymore. We'll figure out. We're going to come forward with some new stuff with bases and laser engrave the carrier decks. We're going to do bases for 1/144 scale. You can go online now too and just put in your measurements for just a display board, whether it's cherry or walnut, and we can do that, and the shipping is included in it. So. There's things we'll get back into it, but we just simply got to manage my time a little better. I'm the only woodworker of it. And the other guys, they work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. So there's not much more you can ask of them as far as, hard labor. So we'll slow, we've got a number of things in the pipeline that will come with awards. I don't know how many awards we've done this fall, probably 6 different clubs in the fall and another 5 or 6 in the spring. And then nationals, we've already talked to the nationals for next year and the year after that. And it looks like we'll get both of them too. So,
well, talking about awards for...
I'm sorry, go ahead. Sir.
Sure. Talking about awards for clubs. So when you're doing that, for any club that might be out there who's going to be putting on a show, what type of lead time do you typically need to give yourself a bit of time to get it produced and shipped?
Well, it depends on how particular you want to be with it. And, Christian's doing the first, second, third place awards, and then I'm doing the main awards in wood. So it just depends on if it's a huge order, or like with SamCon, we just do their main awards, and it's a smaller contest. I would say in general, boy, as much as you can, the better. At least 2 months.
Yep.
I would say at least 2 months. So we get your artwork lined up. We get something back to you that you can show in front of your club, and everybody's happy with it. They know what they're getting. We talk about the money, and we got to deal with shipping if it's a ways. So you got a couple weeks there to make sure. So 2 months at least, I would say.
Okay.
That's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I think, particularly if a club is wanting to do sponsored awards, they have to line up the sponsors. Sometimes that takes time. Sometimes they want the category on the individual 1, 2, 3 awards. They got to be organized. And sometimes, as with any model club, there's varying levels of organization and agreement on different things. So, 2 months is good. There are some situations like with nationals where we are asked to do stuff basically 10 days before the nationals.
And, keep you on your toes.
It turned out to be, I think, 20 additional awards that we had to do. They weren't presented at nationals. I'm proud to say we delivered them on time, but really at this point, we don't want to make a habit of that, because that gets old.
Yeah,
right?
You're
done, and you've delivered everything to the customer, and then you get more. And in the future, it might be for clubs or whatever. Okay, well, there will be a small upcharge. Just because, for example, if we don't have the materials, like the 1, 2, 3 awards are made from acrylic and lasered, and then there's a 4-color applique that can go on there with the club's logo and things like that. We have to order those materials.
Yeah.
And there's a lead time, and then if we're asking for, like on the printing of the appliques is done by a commercial firm. And you can get rush jobs, but that costs money. You can get rush shipping, but that costs money. And, we have to all share the burden of that if it's last minute. So I really encourage anyone that's listening and thinking about it. We have a lot of pictures on the website. We can send you more pictures. I don't think we have all of the IPMS national stuff up there yet.
Here's a little,
but, just reach out. Yeah. There's the Duneland.
I don't think it's really focusing, but
for
those who can actually see it, it's an award in the shape of the outline of the state of Indiana for our friends down in Duneland. But I think one thing to also iterate on awards, all 3 of us are active plastic model builders. We've gone to probably dozens of shows. There's some examples of the first, second, thirds Christian Scott for our friends in Nordicon and Duneland as well. Different shapes, different colors, different amounts of detail. But the point I was trying to make earlier is that we're all modelers. We've gone to many shows, and we take awards and our products very seriously, because we understand what modelers like, and we understand that the works that people go through, the efforts that people go through for their models, they should be worthy of very high quality awards, bases, and other display products. So just make sure you.
What's always impressed me with your bases is the variety of not only the shapes but also the colours that you guys can put into the bases as well. It's got me. I don't know how you managed to get different, 3 or 4 different colours into a wooden base. That sounds like some sort of dark magic to me. But geez, they come off looking really, really good. And here in Australia, having models on bases hasn't been really huge in the past. I think that's changing now, particularly what we're seeing coming out of Europe and the US. But the base doesn't necessarily have to be a scenery base. It can be a base that reflects the actual model itself. And the example I'll use for that is you've got I'm looking at some old pictures here. You've got one that is the I think that's called the Pura Max. Is that what it's called?
The Blue Max.
The Blue Max.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that just looks sensational. What a fantastic way of showing off a World War One biplane, for example. I mean, it's just absolutely gorgeous. So what I'm saying is that the base that you guys design, and I guess also the modelers also can submit the design to you guys, and you're probably happy to do it. It's a great way of complementing the model itself.
It is. And one of the things that we did late in the year last year is we looked at different technologies, because it's easy to do those bases, 3 or 4 a month. But when they started to become more popular during certain times of the year, it just became a tremendous amount of work. So we've invested in this applique technology that allows us to bring a lot of richer colors in. We can put photography on. We can do a wide range of things that just lead to a superior project. And we're not killing ourselves trying to do it. So, one of the more popular things is unit emblems or national insignia. That a lot of times that can set things off, and sometimes it's the whole base is like the squadron crest. Other times it's a cherry base with the squadron crest off to the side. And then the other thing too that we can do with this applique printing technology is we can desaturate the color so that maybe it's just sort of ghosted out so that it doesn't overpower the model, if that's what the model would like. So a lot of things that we're doing there, and we'll be introducing, probably, I guess I would say, reintroducing those options as we come to the end of the year.
What's some of the more complicated and difficult jobs you've had?
Boy, I think doing the nationals was, getting those right. We had to inlay the coin, the challenge coin, and we engraved on that. We did the walnut edge, and then we did an applique. So it was pretty much everything. We did all, other than paint, we did everything to those awards.
I'd say, just from quantity, it was the Rocky Mountain Hobby Expo. Scott Gentry's show.
Yep.
And the reason for that was we did the 1, 2, 3s, or I should say GS gold, silver, bronze. And so we had to work a design from their logo. Thankfully, their logo had been professionally designed. So I don't know who of their team or if someone they knew did it, but it was sharp graphics, good sharpness. And then I think there were 22 major awards, your typical best of show and People's Choice, but also they really wanted to have a variety of different recognitions for different subjects and topics, and all of those were sponsored. And so, believe it or not, simply getting everything laid out so the text fits properly and breaks properly and is consistent size and all that, it's not a lot of work for Bill or Wes, but it's a ton of work for me, because I designed the files that get sent to the commercial printer. because you don't want to spell someone's name wrong.
Oh, no.
You're looking at the categories. Did somebody not spell things properly? And so there's a lot of intellectual effort that goes into that. I think really the most complicated stuff, and Bill, you can talk about this. This is what led to the shift away from wooden 1, 2, 3 awards that were sort of, this size, is that preparing the blank was a tremendous amount of work, and frankly dangerous, because these are small pieces of wood that have to be routed and then sanded. And Bill said, I just can't do these anymore. It's just too much. There's too much that can go wrong. He had pieces flying across the workshop when they got caught up in the
they do.
Missiles.
If you're not paying attention and holding the wood piece down with the router, and you hit it with the blade, shoots off. And
it could just as easily be
and
your
you're
finger.
working on 100. I don't know how many we did. 192 for our club, and they were all individual because they were all first place, soft skin allied from 45 or whatever. So they were all individual awards. You couldn't just sit there and pop them in and just do first place. But that took a long time. And yeah, I can't do that. The little stuff, it's too much, and yeah, we probably didn't charge enough either. But it's okay, it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, if you're at risk of losing an appendage, I mean, why you charge, right? So I mean, that's why this style we think is a good compromise, because it offers something new and fresh for the club. Production is not as dangerous. Yep. Although there are a few fumes from the acrylic, but it gives a really nice part, and then we can do all sorts of different things with color or with photos or whatever in these appliques. So I think it's really opened up a lot of opportunities and makes it more scalable. Now, there is a fair amount of manual work still involved, but it's kind of like a lot of things, right? We talk about modeling, where if you sit around and think about things, you're never going to get better. You have to constantly be building, constantly be painting. And this business is the same. What we've learned in just the 6-8 months that we've been doing the acrylic style awards is a lot. And there's, you couldn't have read or watched YouTube videos about that. You just have to get in there and roll your sleeves up.
Yeah, sure. The other thing I want to sort of mention, so you've got some great new bases coming out, which is your simple base US Navy wooden carrier deck, and also the one for a Japanese wooden carrier deck display, obviously for aircraft. And the starting price, $17.99. How do you guys manage to sort of produce that and get that out of the door at $17? Or $18 on the nose almost. That's really great pricing.
Yeah, it's for the 72nd scale. A lot of it has to do with sourcing quality materials at a good price. And then the other part is just being efficient with the workload. So those are basically, once the board is in the laser, it's set and forget. Again, this is a learning thing. Learned how to refine the laser file so that it was faster and gave better quality over time. We had a lot of prototypes. And, we do seal them so that the modeler can start immediately applying paint and it won't soak in or what have you. And part of it is we did a lot of the pricing and time and motion studies before we ever set on the price.
Yeah. Yep.
So you got to balance the price of the base with what the modeler is paying for that, to me, a zero kit, and make sure that you're providing good value for money.
Yes.
And, here in the U.S., we have a lot of opportunities for boxes and other things. And so we've just tried to be as economical as possible. So really the production's pretty well nailed down. We have 2 different workshops. We live in 2 different cities in Wisconsin. So if a lot of orders come in, because it's digital, if the Bill and Wes in their workshop have the boards, they can put them in their laser and produce product and ship from there. And if I get backed up or if I can't do the work for meeting those orders. So we just try to do a lot to just be as efficient as possible. Our store is based on Shopify. We've really got that so that it's a pretty smooth operating machine. And it allows us to ship things. We a lot of times will pass the discounted shipping costs that we get as Shopify vendors onto the customer. So we just try to be, again, providing value for money.
And people can reach out to you and submit a design, and you're happy to quote on those designs for a particular base?
Yes, we are.
Very good. And above and beyond your bases, you've also now taken on another part of your business, I guess to say, and that's one-man army stencils.
Yes. We had heard about these before, and I saw them when the first 30-second scale was introduced, and I was going to buy some, but I couldn't do it in the United States. This is about a year or 2 ago. But I saw close-up pictures, and I was like, I know what you can do with a laser, and I have no idea how Sven, the founder and owner of One Man Army, hence the name, is doing this stuff. And then lo and behold, he's at the Nats in Madison.
Yeah, I caught up with him there. Yeah.
And he's a very energetic and enthusiastic individual. It's infectious, really, his enthusiasm for the hobby and what you can do. And he had a sign out saying resellers wanted. So we struck up a conversation about it, and we did a lot of talking over the course of the show, and we reached an agreement after we kind of discovered that we have sort of the same mindset and how we look at customers and what we're trying to do. And, the fact that he's working a full-time job and doing this on the side really resonated with the 3 of us. So, we're really getting off to a start. And what we learned in the display cases and the bases part is that it's not really producing the product. It is getting the product in front of people and making them aware of that.
Yeah.
And so one of the first things we did on that was we advertised on ScaleMates to begin with a few years ago. And then we started to reach out to podcasters and say, hey, are you interested in doing a sponsored read for us? And the Plastic Model Mojo was the first, and then followed by the Posse, and then followed by the Geeks. And that really transformed things for us. Because when we were at Nats at San Marco last year, everyone was like, oh, yeah, I heard about you guys on X podcast, Y podcast, or Z podcast. So we're starting that process now. Obviously, David, OTB is the first we've been on to talk about the masks.
Yep.
But we do have reads starting in our other areas. We are a U.S. reseller. It's not exclusive. There will be others, but we are first. We've got product in hand, and we're shipping it out. And in the process of that, I saw for the first time his 48 scale stencils for Spitfires, including the maintenance marks and the grounding marks.
Wow. And
I've got a Spitfire on the bench. I'm doing an Airfix F-46 Seafire, and I am going to give them a whirl. But what I've seen from them, it's like... So we asked him just real quick, how do you do this? And it turns out that he was able to talk to a company in Europe that creates lasers, and they were able to specially design a laser machine for what he was doing.
Wow.
which is incredible.
Yes.
Just incredible. And just everyone that sees they're like, wait a minute, how is this done? It's done on a laser. What laser? It's like surgical grade or something. I don't know what it is, but he's done something that I think probably can't be replicated elsewhere very easily.
Yeah.
Plus of all the intellectual property and making the stencil fonts and all that and making that work so it holds together. That's a ton of work, and I don't think it can be easily copied. So got a wide selection. We just announced yesterday he's got a new set for the 1/24th scale BF 109 G6 late by Trumpeter.
Mm-hmm.
And we're excited about that. And then also a 1/24 scale. Is it 1/24 scale? I think it is, isn't it, Bill? Spitfire Mark II C, or not Spitfire, Hurricane Mark II C.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just look here.
Well, while you're having a look
Bill,
for that, I actually bumped into him at Madison as well, and he was giving out some samples which I brought back to Australia and showed around. I gave that to the guys at my local club, and they were all gobsmacked by the. I want to say the fidelity of it, because doing a stencil in that scale, if you use a traditional cutter, you're going to get tears and bits of sort of it's not going to be it's not going to be a surgical cut as One Man Army is able to do. So for anybody out there who hasn't seen one or is thinking about it, I'd fully recommend you actually go and try these out, because they are exactly what they advertise. They're absolutely brilliant stencils.
Mm.
And I think for Australia is B&A Model World native to Australia.
Yep.
I believe they carry it. And the Hurricane is the 1/24 scale Mark II C from Trumpeter.
Yep.
And we know that there's some additional things coming probably in about 6 weeks. And he is, since he already has the Airfix Spitfire Mark IX, the fact that the Mark VIII boxing is coming out is getting him back in front of the computer to meet the need there. So as far as I know, it's available in Britain and Europe. We haven't seen it yet. I expect it'll take another month or so before we actually see plastic here. I don't know how later Australia is compared to Airfix releases in the UK.
We're about 3 months behind, unfortunately, unless we order direct from Europe. If we wait for it to hit the shops and the local distributors here, it's generally about 3 months.
Yeah, so you'll have a set for that, and of course we'll offer that as soon as it's available to us. So try B&A Model World. We're not restricted from selling worldwide, but frankly, with the shipping and all that, I want to do it.
Yeah, shipping's a killer.
Shipping is a killer.
100%.
And we'll try to help you out or locate someone for you that's maybe a better place. But we're really interested in Sven's success worldwide. Frankly, if B&A Model World lit it up and was just selling the hell out of it, we'd be just delighted for him. So,
and he's a heck of a nice guy as well, to boot. He really is.
Hell of a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'd like
talented.
to make this. He'd like to make this his job. He's working 5 days somewhere else and 2 days, the weekend on this.
Yep.
And he'd like to switch that around real quick as soon as he can. And he just may, because they're incredible. The lasers that we deal with, they're hammers compared to what he's doing surgically.
Yeah.
Because how you can cut through the masking and then not cut through the back paper, it's there's no way we could do it with what we have. It's too big of a hammer. So.
And before we leave that topic, I just want to mention he's also got, and we advertise masks for 1/35th scale armor.
Oh,
So if you're into German armor, there's turrets and Balkan crews, turret numbers and Balkan crews.
son.
He's even got Werkmont division insignias, and that he's got some serial numbers for Shermans. There must be something special about those. We really need TJ Holler on episode to tell us about the Shermans. I'm not an expert in that.
Yeah.
And then also American stars, and then there's a bunch of Russian stuff which we don't have yet, but it's stars and the sort of Cyrillic numbering for turrets and things like that. So I think he is much like we are. Much like Bill and Wes in particular, it's like they come up with an idea and then they try to make it a reality. And, I think Sven's been the same way. He thinks about something and says, you know what, I could do that. Yeah. And the next thing you know, there's a product. So, we're very excited. It's a commitment. We're going to put a lot of muscle and effort behind making this a success for Sven in the United States.
That's very cool.
Yes.
So, if anybody wants to find out more about Bases by Bill, where do they go to track you guys down?
2 places. We have a website, basesbybill.com, and you can contact us through that. There's a contact form. If you don't see something that you're interested in, please ask, and we'll let you know what we can do. We also have a Facebook page. Amongst modelers, Facebook seems to be a really popular social network. And so you can contact us through that as well.
Especially on Facebook. Sorry, Kristen. Especially on Facebook, almost whenever I would have 5, 6, 7 projects finished, I would download all the photos of them. So if you want to see what we've done in the past, if you're just finding out about Bases by Bill, Facebook would probably be the best spot to go to see what we've done in the past. Awards, display cases, anything. That's a good place to see pictures, to actually see actual pictures of things. So
I really love those
display
display
we have a
cases.
lot of things there.
Yeah, I love the display cases you guys do as well.
Used to
do there.
Yes.
Oh my God!
Oh, I'm just
used to do.
Yes,
used to do.
I'm just looking at the standard bases and just getting all these ideas and watching my bank account slowly ticking down.
As we were talking, we had Facebook up on another screen here in the studio, and we were looking at all your pictures on Facebook, all the photos of the different sort of bases and everything, and Ian's sitting the other side of the desk. I can see drool coming down from his mouth. Guys,
well, I don't know how many display cases we've made. I'm going to say for the real big ones, we probably made close to 100.
Wow.
Tables, probably 20. And to think that they're going to be around, or that hopefully they'll be around quite a while. They're going to be durable. They're made out of nice cherry. It's a good feeling. I wish I could have continued doing it, but it just got to be too much.
Yeah.
And the shipping's the biggest problem, of course. We've shipped to Singapore. We've shipped all over the world. Shipped to France, Norway. Big display cases for the 1/200 scale Titanic mainly.
Wow.
And the big Yamato and others. So just to get something like that over to Singapore in one piece
it's a challenge.
It's a big challenge. So I'm wrapping them in sleeping bags, in quilts, in blankets, and things like that. And otherwise, there's no way you're going to pack it full of peanuts or bubble wrap or whatever. It just isn't going to work. No. So, but anyway, the display cases. real happy about the legacy of them, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to forge forward really much anymore.
No.
So.
Yeah, you've got the photo
Well,
to
you
say
know,
that this is what we could have done, and you'll never be able to beat it, kind of thing.
Well, the fact you're not doing
Well,
it
thank
anymore, it sort of drives the price up for those of them that are out there in the world. So you can on-sell it as in like 200 years time there'll be an antique show and somebody will bring one in and it'll have built by bases by Bill, and oh my God, that'll go for like $20,000 at auction.
We engrave our logo and address and phone number on there, so some guy will probably call here. No, that old guy, yeah, he's dead long gone.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think as all of us, as we see people coming and doing a lot of 3D printing work and things like that, at a certain point, you got to have to make choices. Everyone's like, well, why didn't you hire somebody? And why didn't you do this and do that? Well, one reason for not hiring somebody is that the workshop is in Bill's basement and it's the size of a postage stamp. So two people can't work in the wood shop at the same time.
I'm lucky to be in
And,
there with myself and the saw. That's about all it takes up the whole room.
And Weston's a professional hydraulics engineer. I work for the Meekum Collector Car Auction Company. I've got a job just like Weston does that often takes up 50 hours a week, and with a family and everything else, you kind of have to make choices. And we've seen that happen in our hobby. Where people come in and do great work, and then they just can't sustain that.
They burn out.
And so what really, I think what the lesson here for the three of us from Bill's experience, because all three of us bring different things to the party. We are basically a three-legged stool. So I can't do the woodworking. Weston can't do the woodworking, but Bill can't do the design on the appliques. Weston probably could, but he prefers not to. And so we just have to keep that balance, or really the company doesn't work, right? So it's tough. There were some disappointed people, but in the end, they understand. And, we looked at all sorts of options to keep it going and eventually decided that we just needed to bring it to an end.
Well, you're here doing the bases. So, that's still the important thing. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Guys, it's been awesome having you on the show. I was thrilled to catch up with you guys at Madison, and I was so excited to say, we're going to get you on the show, because I've been meaning to do it for quite some time, actually, but we've just been like ships in the night.
Well, it is only September. I mean, it hasn't been that long.
Well,
it took you a month to get back home, didn't it?
That's true. That's very true. I thoroughly recommend anybody who's listening to this go check out Bases by Bill, and that's basesbybill.com, or as mentioned earlier on, go to the Facebook page and check them out. Fantastic product. I've seen it in person at we were at the Omaha show, and you guys had a stand out there then, and we were checking out the bases then. Prices are great. Product is sensational. So if you're looking for that way to finish a model off, by all means go and check out Bases by Bill. Wes, Bill and Christian, it's been awesome having you guys on the show, and by all means reach out to us if you've got something new to talk about. We're more than happy to have you on the show again.
Very good.
It's been
thank you, gentlemen. Thanks for having us.
Hey, no worries.
No worries. Thanks very much, guys. Well, that's a great discussion with the guys from Bases by Bill.
Yes.
And we're really pleased to announce that they are going to be sponsoring our Wheel of Fortune for our Patreon supporters. So they're going to be providing a 1/48 scale
carrier deck. US carrier deck, yes.
Yes.
They'd be quite popular.
Well, I think so.
Yeah.
So how about we spin the wheel and see who the lucky winner is?
And
I've got some sound effects to go in there, so that's all right. And It's James. James has been the winner of the Bases by Bill. James, I'll reach out to you and send you an email, and we will organise to get that shipped out to you. Thanks very much to the guys from Bases by Bill for supplying that prize.
And congratulations to James. You're going to love it.
Oh, you certainly are. And don't forget, all of our Patreon supporters go into our Wheel of Fortune, and you too can get your name on the Wheel of Fortune. Simply become a Patreon supporter of the show. Go to www.patreon.com/onthebench. All right, let's dive into our listener mail. And the first one we got here comes from Peter Ferrugia, who writes in, "Hi Benchers, just a quick one to say how much I enjoyed the last episode on QMHE. It was a great format interviewing the various people you did, and it was especially great to hear Jason Miller and also Bruce Hay and Paul Gloucester, whose work I first found out about from last year's Nationals in the States."
And he's an awesome dude too, Paul Gloucester.
He certainly is.
Great guy.
Yeah, he certainly is. And he makes his wife makes some really nice cookies.
Yeah, really nice peanut butter cookies. Quite enjoyed it.
Oh, geez, that was very funny. D. Luton writes in, "Hi, Dave, Ian and Julian. Just thank you for the catch-up at QMHE a couple of weeks ago. There's an old saying that never meet your heroes." Well, I will never believe that again. I wasn't actually going to make the trip out to Ipswich due to ongoing series of crises and health issues, which have been plaguing us for the last couple of months. But my partner, Barb, insisted, saying the trip would do us good. Due to anxiety, back problems, and a few other things, I'm unable to work presently, so my mobility is a little bit limited. In saying that, meeting both you and Ian made up for the pain I was in after the hour-and-a-half drive to get there. In the last 7 years, I have learned so much about this hobby from you guys that has enabled me to lift my skills to a level that I thought wasn't possible. Not just that, I have found new friends to share an interest that the other 85% of the population tend to go blank whenever you start to talk about it. I don't get to do much modelling these days, but when I do, it's great therapy for depression and anxiety. As well as that, the knowledge you receive as you research any kit that you're building keeps your mind going in a positive direction. Hopefully I'll get to meet you again if you make it back up to Queensland. Thanks for making my life a lot fuller. That's from D. Luton.
And D, it was great meeting you in person too.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely
was. It's a little bit emotional, actually. We
Yes,
caught up.
yeah. Well,
it was
Dee's
really
been
good.
such a long time listener.
Oh, from the beginning almost, yeah. So-
Absolutely fantastic.
And
Yeah, but she didn't meet me because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I'm still a hero, and you guys aren't anymore.
oh, geez, I wouldn't go that far.
I would. That's why I went there.
Toby Seppings writes in, "To the Benches, long-time listener, first-time emailer. Sorry if this is a little bit long, so feel free to read as little or as much as you want. Thanks for a great podcast and being the pioneers for the modelling genre. The recent, or I should say not so recent now, show about podcast YouTubers, you idiot Dave, about YouTubers was great, and I thoroughly enjoyed listening to the different approaches to creating content. Being a modeller who enjoys building all different genres, from AFV, planes, science fiction and cars, and I'm even attempting a boat, which is a Titanic, I was a little disappointed they didn't have a car YouTuber on to even out the balance, but that's okay. I'll forgive you this time and continue to listening to the pod. But seriously, I'm interested to hear about, and Julie might have a view on this, as to why car model YouTubers
Why don't they like to talk?
Yeah, well, I like to talk in their videos. I've tried watching many car videos. I need to find it annoying the sound of someone opening plastic bags and not talking. So much information is provided by good YouTubers talking about what they're doing and also describing the issues they had with their builds. But for some reason, the car YouTubers don't like doing this. What do you reckon, Julian?
Well, I imagine a bunch of them are not English speakers.
That's probably
you
true.
find a lot of them Japanese and...
Well, there's quite a few in across Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think like the top three that I know of is there's Kenji, and then there's who's Japanese. There's Jun's Model Garage or whatever it is.
Right.
I'm not sure where he's based out of, but he builds almost exclusively Japanese subjects.
Yep.
And then there's A4 Garage, and I don't know enough about whoever that person is. But they're quite known. I've seen them build a lot of European cars. You know,
right. Yes.
BMWs and stuff. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like the language barrier. I mean,
I'd say they'd probably
even if they could speak English, they may not be confident enough to do it in a video. You know.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah, like when it comes to languages, like you could actually have a fairly reasonable command of English, but if you're not confident in it, you psych yourself out.
Oh, definitely. Most definitely.
Yeah. And Toby, don't forget there is a podcast you listen to. You probably do already, but it's called the Scale Model Car Podcast. So if you can't
check it into,
go check them out as well. So have a listen to them.
Yeah.
So and just in the end, in the closing sort of notes from his email, this is another question to throw out to you. This may be a little controversial. Recently, the Sprue Cutters Union called it quits. Well, I don't know. I hope, fingers crossed, they might be back.
Hopefully, it's just a hiatus.
Yeah. The question that Toby asks is, are scale modelling podcasts running out of material to talk about?
No. Well, we're
it's funny because
190 odd episodes and we're still finding stuff to talk about.
Well, we originally didn't think we'd get past 50 or something like that. I honestly thought when we started we'd probably got a couple of years to run and we'd run out of stuff to talk about. But there's always something new that's sort of around
there
the
is.
corner.
There's enough new products, enough movement, enough revolutions that going on.
And the hobby is evolving.
It does.
So there's always something, as Julian said, there's always something new to chat about.
Yeah, there is.
I think when we started, that was around the time when sort of the Spanish style of armor modeling was sort of becoming known.
Yep.
And now it's blossomed into such a much greater thing now. But since then, Warhammer has blown up even more.
Yeah.
Science fiction subjects have become a lot more popular.
3D printing.
Because it used to be science fiction subjects was like, okay, well, you might get the odd
X-Wing or something like that. Or
something like that. And then,
or Dave's favourite, the Eagles.
And 3D printing's, turned the game around completely. Like, now it's anyone, like if you want to make a model, you can learn how to design and make it yourself.
Yeah. Use CAD or Tinker, what do they call it?
And there's enough people out there making stuff for 3D printing that there are some people who are doing it with modeling in mind, which is a different thing, right? Like anybody can just sort of make a, figure of a certain character from a certain show. It's another to do that with the design based around modeling, so to speak.
Yes. Fully agree.
Well, Toby, we hope to see you. See you from the ACT, so we hope to see you up at
Canberra
Scale ACT in November.
Yeah.
So come over and
time.
say g'day. Indeed. Let me see. One more we got come in. It came from Brendan W. G'day, benches. It's fantastic meeting both Dave and Ian at QMHE. It's a shame that Julian couldn't make it, but hopefully our paths will cross someday. Like Ash from Rocky Scale Model Association, who you interviewed in the last episode, it's been a long while since I've been down. I was blown away by the show, the venue, the quality of the entries, the number of traders, the organisation. Everything was top-notch. Hats off to the committee and participants. We will definitely be back.
Good to hear.
I did pretty well with my entries too, picking up a gold, a highly commended, and the committee's choice. It was a real honour to receive an OTB chip for the Shelby Echo line.
Yeah, I love that kit. That was really cool.
It was.
That was really cool.
And
I've only ever seen the odd photo of that vehicle, but to actually see someone's model that was just really cool.
And he also got a model to that Borders chip as well for his Hercules M88A2.
Yes.
That was a great model too. They've earned pride of place alongside other awards, including our QLD NNL custom trophies, which one of our club's founders makes for the competition, all made of solid resin. And don't forget that show is on the second weekend in February, so go along and have a look. It is the only model show that's done in a pub, so it's really cool.
Yeah. Really awesome.
that's it for mail. And of course, don't forget, if you want to write in, you can. Our email address is onthebench64@gmail.com. We love hearing what you've got to say and writing in. Quick announcements. We have another model show coming up in September, which is this month, Saturday the 28th to the 29th. It is the South Australian Scale Model Expo 2024. And it's open to the public from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the location is at the John Dunning Centre, Prince Alfred College.
College.
Oh, jeez.
Let's see him get this next word right.
I think it's Decaturville Terrace,
That sounds pretty good.
Kent Town in Adelaide.
Yep.
Unfortunately, it's one that we're not going to be making to this
Not
year.
this year. We plan on going, though.
Yeah, next year is definitely on the cards. Geez, we've had a busy year. We're going to model shows.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, gosh. But, if you live in South Australia, indeed Melbourne, it's not too much of a stretch for you to get over there and have a look. So it's Saturday 28th to Sunday 29th of September 2029. Great bunch of guys over there in South Australia.
They are, yes.
And I want to say even halfway decent model builders. So there you go.
There you go.
Check it out.
Winning on all sides.
All righty. I think that is pretty much bringing us to the end of the show, actually.
Yep.
We haven't got anything else. I've done the mailbox. I've done the Wheel of Fortune. I've talked about how wonderful I am.
Good on you.
Yeah.
From you guys.
I hope you're going to cut that part out.
No, I'm going to leave that in.
You haven't done an outro.
No, we haven't done an outro.
No.
All right. Well, let's
Time
get
for the
into
outro.
it. Ian.
Adios, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Julian.
Yeah, see ya. Oh, you buy more tools and stuff. Yeah.
Mr. Enthusiasm.
Well, I feel like a broken record. I don't want to keep saying the same thing all the time.
Yeah.
I haven't said that one in a while, but even that was too much, to be honest.
Dude, have you not listened to professional shows where they have a proper outro and everything?
Oh, I know. And
It just shows we are not a professional
Yeah,
show.
but
I don't want to sound like a professional show.
You could never sound like a professional show.
Oh, thank
Julian.
you. But I mean, what I mean to say is, I don't want this show to ever sound manufactured.
True.
Right?
Yep.
I would rather it sound off the cuff and real.
Yes.
Well,
Which we try to do.
with my dyslexia, that's never going to be a...
That's true.
Very true.
Guys, thanks very much for listening. We'll be back in a fortnight and...
Happy modelling.
Yeah, happy modelling. All right, see you later. Well, thanks for listening, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget, there's a whole heap of other wonderful podcasts for you to listen to. Just go to modelpodcast.com and check out all the listing of the other fantastic shows there for your listening pleasure. Don't forget, when you're listening to the podcast, give us a rating. It just helps lift all the podcasts up in the data and the algorithms. And also, we recommend you check out Black Hat Scale Models, a fantastic YouTube channel by our good mate Stuart. So go check that out as well. That's Black Hat Scale Models on YouTube. Thanks for listening, and we'll be back in a fortnight.